Hello everyone, Silent here, and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to build 5 very simple, cheap, and really reliable item elevators in your Bedrock Edition worlds. These are the absolute cream of the crop elevators for Bedrock Edition. These things have really evolved a lot over the years, and the ones that I'm showing you in today's video are extremely cheap, very small, absolutely tiny, super reliable, one wide tileable, and lossless as well. Basically, no matter what application you have, whether it be for an advanced storage system, a multi-item storage system, some form of sorting system, or farm storage, literally anything where you need to move an item from a lower place up to a higher place, this video will have you covered with 5 very simple and straightforward designs. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, these item elevators are also hopper speed as well, so they transport items as fast as hoppers can move them, and that equals 9,000 items being elevated per hour. In case you're not familiar with the item elevator history of Bedrock Edition, this is the previous champion of like one wide tileable item elevators. This thing is completely lossless, and overall it was actually a pretty solid design that I released in January of 2019. It's a behemoth, it's terrible, it's 10 blocks long, 10! And yeah, it technically still works, but this is like the main design that I'll be showing you how to build in today's video. As you can see, it's progressed a little bit. So now that I've shown you the side view of it, you can technically just go ahead and pause the video here and build this in your worlds, and you're pretty much done. However, there's a lot of information and other designs in this video that you should pay attention to, so stay tuned for at least a little while longer. So this design right here is very good for a lot of different situations, however, it is not perfect. It is, of course, hopper speed, it is one wide tileable, so you can have these things right next to each other off into infinity. It is reliable, and it's basically the smallest and cheapest item elevator that you're going to be getting on Bedrock Edition in general. I don't think there's really any redstone that could be shaved off of this design to make it smaller or cheaper. So this elevator is not perfect because it is not lossless. This is a freshly built elevator, so it is not primed yet. If we go ahead and put a couple of items into this chest, that will elevator them, and of course you can hear a little bit of clicking. It's going to click a little bit the very first time you use it until the system is primed, and there's a couple of items in these droppers. As you can see, it does leave a couple of items behind, and in general, that's not really going to be a big deal for any form of farm that just produces mass amounts of items. So it's pretty great for the vast majority of use cases. However, if you have a situation like a multi-item storage system where you want to get every single item every single time, this design might not be best suited for you. And of course, one more note that goes for multiple designs in this video. If you want to tile this, aka build multiple of these right next to each other, then you'll simply have to swap out this redstone dust for either an activator rail or a powered rail, and then you just simply swap those every other block, and then your item elevator is 100% tileable off into infinity. So it really is as simple as that. So what if you absolutely cannot stand losing items inside of your elevator, or if you have a system where you need every single item every single time it goes through the system? Well, then you would want design number 2, which is a very similar concept to design number 1, but it uses a ton of observers on the backside. As you can see, this observer layout right here is the same thing that we've been using for absolutely years now, but there is a way to cheapen it. So don't build any elevators like this. You can actually cheapen it and save yourself 30% of the observers, and that is just by replacing every other observer at the top side with a piece of redstone dust. This design right here is basically perfect. There is no flaws with it whatsoever. It is one wide tileable, hopper speed, reliable, lossless, and super easy to build. The only downside to this one is that it uses a fair amount of observers, so it is a little bit expensive. Now we can go ahead and demonstrate this system right here by putting 32 gold into this chest right here, and as you can see, that's going to get elevated pretty quickly into our upper chest, so that really is all there is to it. Now this system might not appear to be one wide tileable because of course we are using redstone dust. However, for these bottom pieces of redstone right here, the same deal as the first elevator that I showed you. You just swap these out for an activator or powered rail every other block that you would have your elevators. Now, the top pieces of redstone dust is a little bit different, so if you had elevators on every single one of these blocks, then you would simply put a repeater and then a redstone, and then a repeater, and just alternate that off into infinity. So this still saves you a ton of observers, it saves you quite a bit of resources, and it just makes the build process a little bit easier as well. So if you're like me and you don't like spending resources or crafting observers, then this elevator right here might be the one for you. It is 2-wide tileable, lossless, hopper speed, and reliable, and this one can be used mostly for a specific type of multi-item storage system. So the design that I'm thinking about has double chests side by side like this all the way down the row. This is a pretty standard type of multi-item storage system and perfect for this kind of 2-wide elevator. So this is 2-wide tileable. Instead of having your next line of droppers right here, however, you would instead move it over a block and then you just mirror the build every other block just like that. So that is how you would 2-wide tile it. And if you want to use this for some multi-item storage system designs, go for it. It's free reign. It is simply 2 different torch towers on either side with 1 torch per tower powering a single dropper. I can hear the smart person in the back of the comment section going, what about bubble elevators? And that person has a very good point. Thank you for bringing up bubble elevators. I would like to feature this design right here, which is by far the cheapest elevator that you're basically ever going to get. And really, it's just about as straightforward as you can really get it. So we have 3 pieces of redstone at the bottom besides the 2 hoppers. It is technically tileable, but I don't really know how reliable that's going to be with the items sticking in their lane. It is reliable, it's hopper speed, and it is not silent. So if you want to get a system that is just absolutely bare bones, this of course would work perfectly fine for you. Now there is even another system besides this one. So this is of course the glass item elevator. We call them glass item elevators, but you can technically use any full block that you want. So this could be made out of dirt if you wanted to. This is basically just a plus sign of blocks above a dropper, and then we just have the hopper coming out of the double chest. You can feed your item line into this, and whatever you put inside of these item hoppers is going to go straight into your elevator, get elevated up, go into the water stream, and then go into your next hopper line or your item collection. This really is as simple as you can get it. It barely uses any water. You could probably get rid of this water source as well if you were clever with the item physics, and that's pretty much it. So I'll go ahead and do a quick tutorial for you just for the bottom circuitry of these elevators. As you can see, the bottom circuitry is the exact same on every item elevator in today's video. So you're going to start off by placing an observer facing away from your item elevator, and then a dropper above this. This is going to be the main dropper stack of your item elevator. Place either a redstone dust in front of that observer or a detector or powered rail if you're going to be building multiple of these next to each other. Place in a solid block right there, a hopper going into that dropper with a double chest right here. We now need to dig down 1 block and place an observer facing upwards like so. That observer is going to detect whenever an item goes into or gets taken out of this chest. This is a feature that's been around for at least 3 to 4 years now since Better Together was introduced, and I'm not sure who originally came up with using it for item elevators, but it's absolutely brilliant. So this is the bottom circuitry and clock for your item elevator, and here is the rest of the circuitry for all of the other item elevator designs that I've showed you in today's video. Because all of these item elevators are a single block wide, you can see all of the redstone from a side view, so enjoy these different circuits in your worlds. Now, of course, it should go without saying, but you do not need to manually place items into this chest right here. You can simply run a hopper line into this chest. You can have solid blocks above this chest. You can do whatever you want. So this hopper line can be coming from literally whatever you want, and that will elevate your items going upwards. And that's going to do it for today's Bedrock Edition tutorial. I hope that you have greatly enjoyed. Of course, if you have, make sure to leave a like on the video, as it helps out the video and the channel an absolute ton. If you're new here, then possibly consider subscribing. That way you don't miss a future tutorials on the channel. I have over 200 Bedrock Edition tutorials for a variety of different farms, redstone contraptions, and all kinds of different shenanigans, so you might enjoy those as well. Otherwise, I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one, and then there was silence.